Hello once again, welcome to Happy Hour with Steve Guy, coming to you from All Saints Public House in Cleveland, Ohio. I, of course, am your bartender and host, Steve Guy, and on this week's episode, we travel to the Grog Shop in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. We visit this iconic music venue in Cleveland's history to talk to the owner, Kathy Blackman, as we talk about the origins, the history, and the struggles she's facing right now in the current pandemic environment. Plus, we chat with her about how independent music venues similar to hers are teaming up across the country to get through these struggles. We also have a musical performance, but before all of that, here's what people are talking about at their happy hours.
Did you know your boy Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson just bought the XFL?
I saw that. That's really exciting. Like, everybody's talking about how it's kind of like his TV show Ballers. I don't know, we'll see, but I think it's really interesting.
No jokes?
No. Jocelyn, we do not poke fun at The Rock on this show, at this happy hour, in this bar. Not even in friendly jest. Made that mistake once on Twitter. Never happening again. Hey, did you know that that movie Lilo and Stitch, the Disney cartoon, is 18 this summer? That means that Lilo was like part of the high school graduating class of 2020. I can't believe nobody celebrated that.
Good, because I hate when people try to do that Stitch voice. Not everyone is good at it.
Hannah means family.
Exactly. You just proved my point.
Whatever. There's probably some weirdo trying to draw 18 or 19-year-old Lilo somewhere.
Yeah, some sick anime pervert.
Yeah. Freaks. Hey, you work at one of these bars. It's kind of like a club vibe. What's going on there with the whole Ohio stop serving at 10 and then hold drinks at 11?
I hate it now. I can't stand it.
Because you're not open as long? You're not making as much money?
No, because all these guys I've been avoiding after hours now know I'm off work at 11 and they've been trying to hang out with me.
I can see that being problematic.
Steve, don't pretend to know the struggles of a beautiful woman and you couldn't possibly.
Wow. Okay. Hey, you want to see this video of these alligators crossing the street in South Carolina?
Let me see it. Oh my God, they're so cute.
All right, while she watches that, we're going to hit the road, and you can watch this sit-down interview with Kathy Blackman, the owner of the Grog Shop. All right, so typically I ask everybody what their happy hour drink of choice is, but today I'm on the other side of the bar, hanging out at the Grog Shop with its owner, Kathy Blackman. But, still, I'm going to ask you, what is your happy hour drink of choice?
Well, as we talked about earlier, at this particular time, my happy hour drink of choice would be a Tito's grapefruit and soda.
I love that you have different drinks for different times of the day.
A little later in the day, it might have changed.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do like some. I also like the cava tequila soda splash of grapefruit. Delicious as well. That's a good. That's a Sunday brunch drink.
That's a lot of fancy stuff going on. I personally, my favorite, since I get to be on this side of the bar and have a drink, I'm real easy. I just go like tequila and soda.
All right.
That's my deal. Yeah, you're gonna whip some up for us?
Going now.
Oh, here we go. So while you do that, let's talk about the Grog Shop a little bit. You are the original owner.
I am the original owner.
And while this is not the original location,
No.
Grog Shop's been open since 1992.
92. Well, we're almost 28. In another 6 weeks or so, we'll be 28 years old.
That's crazy. Did that
Silver or the other one?
Let's go silver.
Okay.
Does that just fly by for you?
Kind of. Yeah. I certainly did not think I'd be doing this for 28 years. And now that it's 28 years later, it's a little daunting, but you know.
Yeah, and now you have the B-side as part of it. How long has the B-side
So
been
we've
around?
been at this location since July of 2003. Okay. So we've been here. I always say the old Grog and the new Grog, this being the new Grog, but it's not so new.
Yeah.
And we've been here longer than we were at the other location. So there's that. Soda, you said?
Yes, please.
And B-side opened, we were here in July, B-side opened in October. So it's a long time. Yeah. I can't do the math.
That's okay.
There you go. Cheers.
Cheers. It's been a while since I've had one of these. With everything being shut down, I don't get out to the bars very much. It's great.
I might even have fruit since
I don't need that. It's fine. So, I mean, how do you even first get into opening a music venue?
So this is something I've been asked many, many times throughout the years. I quite honestly sort of just fell into it. I was young, straight out of college, maybe a year out of college, and was working at Club Isabella as a server.
Yeah.
And there was like a bar that we would hang out at the original Club Isabella.
Yeah.
You know, and which is now a parking lot in University Hospital, basically. And there was a bar around the corner up here, Coventry and Mayfield, that was just, we would go after work for drinks and nobody was ever there. And she said, wouldn't it be fun to open a bar here? And blah, 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 blah. 28 years later, here I am.
Yeah, Coventry's like an interesting spot. I grew up initially on the east side,
Okay.
and now I live on the west side. But I have so many fond memories. In fact, like driving over here, I got a little emotional, like driving through spots. Spent years hanging out at Euclid Tavern,
Right.
And I've come to multiple shows here because I do comedy. I've performed on this stage doing stand up with John Bruton, who's on our show, and you've seen kind of Coventry, like the ebbs and flows of it
Definitely.
over the years.
So when we first started, it was the era of the Monday night shows at Euclid Tavern when the Darecast was doing the hardcore shows. And we sort of piggybacked on that a little because they were really only doing that on Monday. And there was a void. There was a need for another music club in Cleveland. Peabody's Down Under was pretty hopping. And that was it. You know, there was not much else. So we slowly evolved into being a music club. You know, maybe the first year we just were getting our feet wet. We had bands occasionally. We tried to be a restaurant. We tried to open during the day. We didn't know what we were doing. I literally had never poured a drink in my life before we opened. And then it just sort of clicked. And slowly but surely, we went from being a corner bar that had music to a music venue on a corner.
And you've become one of those iconic Cleveland venues where it's like you see people before everybody else does, before they're big. I mean, you've had bands like the Yeah Yeah Yeahs have been here, the Black Keys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oasis, I think, was here at one point.
Yeah.
So
Fun, Fall Out Boy, Kid Rock,
Wiz Khalifa.
Kid Cudi, and any hip hop person ever has played here. My adage is, be nice to me because I'll see you on the way up and on the way down. So it holds very true, unfortunately, for some. But
how cool does that feel though, to know that, like, yeah, that's the spot. Is there a bit of reward just in that?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It really is. I mean, listen, it's basically a shitty rock club, you know. It's, you know, I mean, it's lovely to me, but it's not. You know, I've had people come in here and be like, ugh, this is the club, you know, and then people are like, this is great. So it's, you know, it's not for everybody, but you know, it's got a lot of heart, a lot of character, and you know, my staff has been the same for a bajillion years. I mean, you come here and then you come back 6 years later, and you come back 6 years later, and you're like, wow, it's like a time warp in here. You know, the same people, the same feel. This, you know, the only thing that might change is prices might go up slightly, but you know, we're pretty solid.
They've always been pretty good here.
Yeah.
I can't drink beer anymore because I developed an allergy to hops, of all things, randomly. But I remember coming here, I mean, years ago, and you could get like a tall boy PBR for $1.50 or something.
I think we started at like 2. We're up to 4.
Is it 2? Okay.
But
I knew like it's like it was like a 24 ounce can
I have
for
a
like
cooler full of them.
yeah, for like for $2.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this place
You can
is
still get a $2 beer here, but it's going to be like Black Label or Hams or something to that effect.
Black Label's still pretty good. Well, let's talk about what's happening, I guess, now, which is not very much with the Grog Shop because of the shutdowns from COVID-19. But you've joined on this initiative, right, NIVA, the National Independent Venue Association, with not just multiple venues in the Cleveland and Ohio area, but throughout the entire country.
Yeah, there's over 2,400 members now. And when it started, which literally was maybe a month or two after all this kind of fell apart, if you will, it was sort of an outcrop of Independent Venue Week, which only a few of us were a member of. The Beach was the first one. We joined on like maybe last winter. And it was just sort of a way for clubs around the country, independent venues, to do a week of shows together and sort of celebrate each other and market together. And then this happened and they're like, shit, we really should get together and advocate and talk about what we can do to help each other. And it's really the first time music clubs have had like this cohesive organization where we all support each other. Because it's weird, unlike other industries which have like, lobbying groups and, all these special interest things that look out for them, independent music clubs really are independent. Like they sort of operate on an island, and nobody's handing out us any like grants, like help the rock club. It just didn't exist before. So we basically had to help ourselves, and we've come together really in a nice way. And there's a lot of exciting things happening, if God willing, if they pass in the Senate, hopefully, to give relief to these clubs. Because the stats they're throwing out are like staggering and really scary. Like 90% of clubs they say will close if no relief package comes. So it's very sad.
And you were telling me you hadn't had any shows since March. A lot of that has to do with obviously things
we
reopening
shut down
very
on
slowly.
March 12th was our last night, and until last night, actually, we had one podcast here, live stream with Tropodelic, and that was it. I did one outside show, which was really kind of cool, like in a parking lot with Carlos Jones at my Doug Katz Diner up here on Lee Road, which was awesome. And I was planning on doing more, but then sort of like COVID got worse, and I said, what kind of look is that? Truly as safe as we are being, with everybody had to have masks and everybody was distanced, and we were super on top of it. God forbid somebody gets sick, then the 120 people that were there, were all at risk. And I just thought it was sort of a bad look for us to be involved with, although I would love to do more, and there is a need and a call for it. I just don't know, especially now, no mass gatherings again for over 10 people. So really what we do here as a business is we gather in mass to see live music, which does not work with COVID. COVID is not our friend. So
What did that look like in terms of having a band here that's set up? So eventually, if people, because the hope is that people slowly eventually come back, but a lot of people don't know what that.
Like I said, we had 6 tables set up last night, and the understanding was that if you came in a group of 2, you'd be at one table. If you came with 4, we'd bring a couple other chairs. The most people we could have probably had comfortably might have been 30-ish, maybe a few more if we would have spread it out, but we really only had like 15 people. So those people got a really great show with Muamin Collective, and they really enjoyed it. And we just had to be super careful that people kept their masks on when they were ordering, and if they got out their table, they had their masks on. But quite frankly, singing it spreads stuff, so you have to be extra diligent and extra careful. We had the tables 20 feet from the stage as opposed to 6. So, this room's not that big. It's not really a viable business model. To do little things from here and there to kind of keep our name alive and keep musicians working and keep people sane, I'd love to do more, but we'll see. Yeah.
That's kind of the side that people don't see, I think, is, everybody wants to pretend like they know, and like, oh, well, didn't you set enough money aside and this and that, and like, can't you operate having a show with just 30 people? And like this space, you're used to having a show with 100 at least people in here, so watch a show.
So our standing capacity is like 380. It's pretty crowded in here sometimes, let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not even looking at 50%. I'd say at best I could do 20% of my capacity if we did it very safe, and it was, maybe a table of 4, table 6. And that's just, you have to have extra employees. You're still paying the soundman, you're still paying the band. It's really just a do the math thing, people. We've had 0 income since March, so we're going on 5, 6. In September, really 6 months with no income. I still have rent, I still have insurance, I still have utilities, I still have all of that, and those things are not going away, unfortunately. So without one of these relief bills passing, we're screwed, unfortunately.
Which leads us to what's happening right now. There's a call to action happening. Tell us about that.
So the day of action, we're going to be pushing for 2 bills that have been proposed. The first is the Restart Act, and the second is the Save Our Stages Act.
Save our stages.
Save our stages. And the NEVA, if you ever want to know anything about NEVA, if you go to Save Our Stages, I think it's .com,
Yes.
there's all sorts of information. And everybody, they're asking like social media, keep tagging Save Our Stages and things like that. But Restart basically is a loan program, which could go to many businesses. So it would help any business who is not open, who has not been able to reopen due to COVID. But basically, it's predicated, I think you can get up to 45% of your sales, 6 months worth of sales from 2019. And so if you made $100, you could get $45 worth. And it's a loan, and if you follow all the rules, and the rules are not as it has to go to this and this, it could go to payroll, it could go to expenses, it could go to utilities. It can't go to like, I want to redo my stage, I want to buy new booths. It can't go to improvements like that. But anyways, if you follow all the rules, you get 90% of it back. So that would be great for people like us. And it could keep us going for another 6 months, 9 months, God willing. So the Save Our Stages Act, which was just introduced a couple weeks ago by Amy Klobuchar and John Cornyn, I'm very bad with names, pronunciation, sorry, is really just geared to live music venues, which is sort of phenomenal if it could pass. And it's a grant program and similar parameters where it's based on your 2019 sales. You can get up to 50%. I think it's 45 or 50%, and it's a grant, and it does apply to nonprofits and small theaters and things like that. So there's a big movement to see that happen. And basically, we're hoping one of them happens, or very large portions of one of the other is part of this new relief bill, because PPP4 is not our friend. It's not going to help us. And even if they do a PPP4 and then they, add the Save Our Stages for a small group, and it's a definitive amount of money, like I think it's $2 billion they're asking for. So once it's gone, which makes it a little bit more attractive to the more conservative base out there. It'll be helpful. So. Yeah, there's one other thing we're supposed to do. We're supposed to tag Marco Rubio, because he is the man that needs to support this, that is not supporting it, and because he's the PPP guy. So
surprise
it's very confusing. But we tag him, we write our people, we call our representatives, and we try to do all this on Wednesday around the state. So there's like huge outpouring, and in theory, I believe that they all go on break. They get summer break very soon. I think second week of August. So if it doesn't happen by then, it's probably not going to happen at all.
Aside from using hashtags and other ways to spread the message, you have items that people can show off and buy, and it helps you, and it helps spread this message. We got a poster.
Well, so Jake Kelly, who's a fine Cleveland artist, drew that mural when we moved here in 2000 and when did we move here? 2002? I believe it was. 2003, excuse me. And he spent countless nights sleeping here and making that mural. And when this entire pandemic hit, people started posting pictures of themselves in front of it, because if you see what it says this is a weird time to be alive, right? Yeah. And then it started really ringing true, like, wow, this is a really weird time to be alive. So it was his idea to redraw the mural into a poster form, and he donated all the proceeds to our staff. And, obviously he made some money too, because we love Jake and he works hard. And then he redrew it again and made it a t-shirt. So we're definitely, this is what I do now. We even have some cute B-side face masks. But I'm now a t-shirt and poster salesperson, and I will deliver it to your house.
And you are doing some things at B-side right now.
Yes, we're open 4 days a week right now. We're doing comedy, Make 'em Laugh Mondays, and karaoke on Mondays, lyrical rhythm on Tuesdays, and then Friday and Saturday have been just sort of a hodgepodge. I'm trying to curate small shows on the patio with solo performers. Liz Kelly and Maddie Finn are doing next Friday and Saturday, and then having a DJ after. But now, of course, the bar time has changed. So considering we used to open at 7, sometimes 8, now that we have to stop selling drinks at 10, that model will probably have to shift as well. Unfortunately for us, it's probably not going to work out too well, because we don't have food. People aren't coming here at 4 or 5 in the afternoon. It's just not going to happen. So we're going to only have 2 or 3 hours to actually sell drinks. So I will try as long as I can to be open and to make things work, and we'll go from there.
So as we talk about B-Side and Make 'em Laugh Mondays, which actually used to be here at the Grog Shop for many years.
Many years.
The originator and the host of it, John Bruton, is a cast member of Happy Hour with Steve Guy. And I told him to swing by as a surprise for you.
Hi, John.
Hey, Kathy.
How are you?
I'm happy.
Welcome.
John, what's it like being back in here in the Grog Shop
I'm
right now,
missing
man?
so much. I saw the stage and I started getting teary-eyed. So I missed that stage. I've been here since, I think it's been 6 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, 6 years I've been here. The show's been going for 7 years. January, last week of January is the anniversary. So,
What are some of your favorite moments from here?
I like the concerts. Last concert I saw here was Ari Lennox. It was sold out, and it was nothing but beautiful fans. I was so happy to be here for that show. I saw Scarface here 3 times. I saw Afro Man here, I believe, back in like early 2000s.
Wow.
That's an old one.
Yeah, I think the Def Jam Vendetta concert tour stopped here, if I'm not mistaken. I've been coming here the second I was old enough to go out. I was always close to me, so to be on stage is fun. Just here, Joe Mandy was here recently. That was one of the bigger shows we've had. And Kyle Kinane was 2 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
I feel like he was coming back, and that got canceled in the midst of all this nonsense.
Yeah, so it's like we're just happy to be able to get people back out, safe distancing. We're doing it down at B-Side, keeping it very small as far as the small crowds, big space.
Yeah.
So we've been spacing out everybody a lot. It's been working.
Does that give you some comfort that you're working with Kathy and you're at least at B-Side making that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've always had a great relationship.
Right.
Yeah, like it's always been, she's been nice to take a chance on me when I first hit her up, and I've been just trying to make sure she didn't regret it.
Did you?
No, never.
Did you ever think that you'd have to help basically do some fundraise for this place?
I'm all for it. I would love to. I mean, just to help out, even if it's not. Like, I was telling a couple comics we should do a boxing thing, like Mike Tyson and Roy Wood Jr.
Yeah.
Not Roy Wood Jr. Roy Jones Jr.
Yes.
Roy Jones Jr. are going to be boxing, and we were talking. I'm trying to get certain comics to box. Trying to get at least 2 more. I'm going to issue a challenge right now. Brian Tidwell, me and you, 5 rounds.
On the Grog Shop stage?
It's going to be a quick fight.
Yeah,
I got to ask him. He's in training. I just want to do something fun.
Kathy, as we wind down, what are some of your favorite concerts or shows in general that you've been here for or you've had here?
Once again, always a hard question for me. I love them all. No, I tend to like the indie rock shoegazer stuff. So like Luna, Brian Jonestown Massacre is one of my favorite bands of all time. So every show they've ever played, although some of them were more stressful than others. Yola Tango is always one of my favorite. John Neely has been posting every day since we've been closed because he keeps everything, which is like mind-boggling to me. So he'll find the flyer that was on this day in whatever year. So a lot of them are from the old Grog. So some great ones come up. The Shins just came up like 2 days ago. I love the Shins. But yeah, you got to go to our Instagram or our Facebook because it's pretty awesome. The calendar he posted today was for August. It was sometime in the 90s. I don't know. I don't remember what year, but Brian Jonestown was on the calendar, and I believe Big Sandy was on there, and I feel like Gaunt, which was like a punk rock band from Columbus, was on there. There was a bunch of cool ones on that one. But yeah, I don't know. I like it all.
And every Make 'em Laugh Mondays.
And every Make 'em Laugh Monday.
If somebody wants to get a t-shirt or poster from you, how can they get in touch with you?
Just go to our website, grogshop.gs, and there's a link. Click on it and go from there. And don't forget, save our stages.
Yes. If you want to help out and even just by throwing out a message, look, share your memories from the Grog Shop. There are so many of you who have been here to different shows and have probably taken pictures or video of the show that you've been to.
Personal stories is what they're telling me will get these politicians thinking. They don't want some canned thing with a bunch of signatures. They want to hear a personal story, like why we're going to be such a loss, So
share those stories. Share it on social media. Call your Congress people. Share it with them. Do what you can, and don't forget to use the hashtag #SaveOurStages and visit the Save Our Stages website as well. Kathy Blackman, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I would say thank you for swinging by happy hour, but thanks for letting me swing by.
Yes,
Here
and
in the Grog
next
Shop.
time at your bar.
Yes. Thanks, John.
Yes, my pleasure.
The following is a clip from a musical performance at the Grog Shop earlier in 2020 from the band Broccoli Samurai, which actually used to be the house band for the original version of this show called Up Late with Steve Guy back in 2011 with its original members. Here now is Broccoli Samurai. Thanks so much to Kathy Blackman for letting us swing by the Grog Shop and have an amazing conversation with her about everything that's going on and the struggle she's facing and everything she's trying to do to get through this time for an iconic music venue to stay open in the future. And thanks to John Bruton, I guess, for helping bring some cheer to Kathy, a role that we're not used to seeing him in, as he's typically pretty angry when he's on this show. Now we come to the part of the show where we say, here's to you, to somebody that's doing something, whether it's in the community, across the country, it doesn't matter. We simply find something positive and give cheers to these people who are doing it. This week's episode, I actually want to give cheers to the people that we mentioned during that conversation, Amy Klobuchar and John Cornyn, as they work to get help and relief to these independent music venues, because live music is so awesome and it's so important, and those venues do more than just provide an opportunity for music artists on the come up, as somebody does stand-up comedy. A lot of them open the doors to us to perform as well. So we raise our drinks and say, here's to you, Senators Klobuchar and Cornyn. And remember, if you've got somebody in your life or somebody that you've heard about who deserves some sort of praise, let us know. Tell us who they are, tell us what they've done, and email happyhoursteveguy@gmail.com to nominate someone. And keep in mind, this can be somebody famous, well-known. This can be someone in your everyday life, as I said. But we also aren't just doing that on the show. We are doing it on our social media as well. So make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Search Happy Hour with Steve Guy. Like our page, give us a follow, and we will be doing Here's to You on those as well. And of course, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. You can also now watch these episodes, if you're not already, on Facebook and IGTV. And of course, subscribe to the podcast if you like listening to extended interviews. All that being said, thanks to All Saints Public House, thanks to my bar regular Jocelyn, and to John Bruton and Kathy Blackman once again. Until next week, thanks for swinging by Happy Hour with Steve Guy.